Good Sunday evening and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball coming to you from Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, where the New York Mets take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. It'll be Brett Saberhagen for the Mets, and it'll be Steve Cook for the Pirates. There you see the lineups and the bullpen benches for both teams, plus the bullpens. Mets carrying one extra position player, the Pirates carrying one extra pitcher. All right, those little festivities out of the way, we are ready to get going. Steve Cook finishing up those warm-up tosses, and he's going to be facing Darren Jackson, a recent acquisition by the Mets from the Blue Jays in exchange for Tony Fernandez. So Darren Jackson will get the chance in the leadoff spot. I have the board off in front of the phone here so I can read it. I also have a second board right here in front of me, so if I need to show something, I have it handy. I don't have to keep moving the other board, so that should help, hopefully, with the presentation. Also have the action chart right here with me as well. Okay, we're ready to go. Darren Jackson against Steve Cook. We get a 1-5-4. 1-5 is a 5. 1-4 is a 2. Total of 7, and that's a pop-up to the second baseman, Carlos Garcia, and there's one away. So Darren Jackson disposed of, and that'll bring up a guy I honestly do not know, and that's Doug Saunders. I don't know how long he played for the Mets, but he was there for 67 at-bats, 28 games at 209. Played all the three of the infield positions other than first base, but the name just does not ring a bell with me, but he's in there. 2-1 is a 21. 2-5 is a 3 for a total of 24 in column 2. 24 in column 2 is a ground out, catcher to first, and we got an injury again. When you start with the 22s through the 55s in column 2, you're looking at injuries, and right off the bat, Doug Saunders is injured. So Doug Saunders' appearance on Sunday Night Baseball will not be a long one. He's going to ground out 2-3 as Tom Prince pounces out from behind the plate to make the play. But now the Mets will have to go to the bench because of the injury to Doug Saunders, and that will be the only injury the Mets can incur. I do max everything out at one injury per team. So now we need to see who they can go to, and what they may end up doing is, what they're going to end up doing. Tim Bogar is the shortstop. We'll move Steve Cook temporarily. Tim Bogar is the shortstop, but he will move to second base. And coming in to play shortstop will be Kevin Baez. So we're going to have Baez come on. Bogar will move to second base. And at shortstop, we will have Baez. All right, so maneuvering early on in this game due to injury. So Baez is now going to end up being the new shortstop with Bogar moving to second base. So I need to fix that on my score sheet as well, so I know going forward who to check and who not to check. So short outing there for Mr. Saunders. He didn't last long. 2 down, base is clear for a guy I do know something about, and that's Eddie Murray, longtime Baltimore Oriole. 5-6 is a 2. 5-5 is a 3. Total of 5 in column 5, and that is a grounder to third. If there had been a runner on and first base opened, it would have been a walk, but there's not, so it's simply going to be the ground ball to third, and Jeff King handles it. And the Mets are out pretty quietly here in the top of the first. Nothing doing from Three River Stadium. We go to the bottom of the first. Mets nothing. Pirates coming to bat. And right-hander Brett Saberhagen, who was 7-7 with a 3.29 ERA in 1993, obviously had some injuries to deal with because he only had 19 starts. And Carlos Garcia is going to lead things off for the Pirates. Second baseman. 1-5 is a 5. 1-6 is a 2. Total of 7, and that's going to be a pop-up to second. That's exactly how the top of the first started. The bottom of the first initiates the same way. I'll bring up Jay Bell. one of the holdovers from the championship teams in Pittsburgh. NL championship, NLCS, or NL East champions, not the NL champions. 5-1 is a 5, 5-6 is a 1, total of 6 in column 5, and that's going to be a walk. Now, Saberhagen doesn't walk many, which is why he has these raised numbers next to the 1, but since we found the one that didn't have the raised number, the walk is going to stand. Otherwise, Saberhagen would have been able to stop that, or at least, potentially stop it, but he cannot, so Jay Bell will reach. And that'll bring up center fielder Al Martin. 6-1 is a 16, 6-1 is a 1, total of 17. Deep fly out to left field for out number 2. Would have been a sacrifice fly had a runner been on third, but that wasn't the case. And that's going to bring up the right fielder, Orlando Merced. Against Saberhagen, 5-4. That is a 4 with an F. That is when you see letters, that means a potential action column. Well, not potential. It would be an action chart if he reaches base. All right, so 5-4 is a 4. 5-3 is a 1. That is a total of 5 in column 5. And it says, with runners on and first base open, scores a ball. But first base is not open, so it's just a ground ball to third. And that's going to end the inning. So we'll not be going to the action chart because that concludes the inning. So nothing doing for the Pirates. They do get the walk, but nothing else. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. At the end of 1, it is scoreless from Three Rivers. And the $1 Million Man, no, not Ted DiBiase, but Bobby Bonilla, still getting those checks from the Mets. He steps in, playing right field in this game. 5-1's a 5, 5-4 is a 2, total of 7, and that will be a walk. So Bobby Bo coaxes a walk off of Steve Cook. Leadoff man is on for Dave Gallagher. Gallagher is patrolling left field in this game. Very good left fielder. 66 error rate. He cannot come in an error. He's got a good arm with a 4. Only average range with a 3. 4-2. That's going to probably be a double play because we get a 1 here. 4-2 is a 1. 4-2 is the second baseman, Garcia. And Garcia is a 3. Total of 4 in column 4. And with the infield halfway, anything 2 through 6 is a double play. 4 fits that criteria, so it's a 4-6-3 double play. When you see batters with a 1 in the column 4, that means they hit into some double plays. So wipe the base runner off, 2 quick outs, and that'll bring up a guy that many think should be in the Hall of Fame, Jeff Kent. Certainly in the Hall of Very Good. You could make a good argument for his Hall of Fame credentials. 6-6, well, he might just prove it right here. That's an 11. 6-2 is a 2, total of 13. That is out there. That is deep, and that is gone. Jeff Kent says, put me in the hall. Put me in the hall, coach. I'm ready to play. And he deposits that in deep into left field, and the Mets lead it 1-0. That 6-6 roll is not good for the pitchers. That's the home run check. It's much like APA when you roll a 66, which, this replay game has a lot of APA qualities to it. You can see the influence from APA for sure. 4-5, back to a fielding check. And again, number 2 means he's hitting to a lot of double plays. 4-5 over here is the shortstop. That is Jay Bell. He's a 1. So a 2 and a 1, total of 3. And again, that's just it would be a double play, but instead it's simply just a ground ball to short to end the inning. But the Mets strike first, thanks to the Jeff Kent home run. And we go to the bottom of the second. It is 1-0 Mets. And now Saberhagen given that lead to protect. And his first batter facing him will be Dave Clark, the left fielder in this game. 6-2, and that's the shaded area, so we're going to Three River Stadium for the first time in the game. And that's in column 6, so we're up here in the top. And since Clark's a lefty, we're looking at the very top row. So right now it's a 9, but that can change based on what we roll. The 6-3 is a 2, so we're going to add 2 to whatever the new result is. So we re-roll the D6. It's a 1, so that's going to change to a 7. It went from a 9 down to a 7. 7 and a 2 is a total of 9. That's just going to be a single where it could have been a home run had Three River Stadium not altered it, but it did. So Dave Clark. Not a home run, but does settle with the leadoff single. First hit of the game for the Pirates. See if they can get something going. And it'll be third baseman Jeff King coming up to hit. 5-4, and that's a 27. 5-4 over here is a 1, total of 28 in column 5. That's a fly out to right field, and there's one away. So King is retired, and that brings up first baseman Kevin Young. With Sid Bream gone to the Braves, the Pirates really had a hard time filling that first base role. 6-2 was a 7, so it's going to most likely be a base hit. 6-5 is a 3. That's a total of 10 in column 6. And that's a single. It says runner may advance one base. Runners advance one base. Runner on second may try to score. So if he's not on second, he can only go one base, is what it's saying here. Let's see here. But it does say with 2 outs, runners advance 2 bases. So it will be the advancement of... Oh, I'm sorry, there are not 2 outs. My bad. There's only 1 out. So he does not advance. It's just a 1-base advance. Got ahead of myself. There's only 1 out. So runners are at first and second for Tom Prince, the catcher. When he retired, I guess you could say he was the catcher formerly known as Prince, or Prince, it's kind of backwards. Prince, formerly known as the catcher, something like that. 2-1 is a 26. This look got an injury written all over it. 2-1 is a 26. 2-6 is a 3. Total of 29, and that is a ground ball to third, but it's going to be an injury. Let's see here. Runners are going to advance 1 base. So it's an injury. Tom Prince grounds out to the third baseman, Jeff Kent, whose only play was to first. So that's out number 2. Runners do advance, but the pitcher Steve Cook coming up. But Tom Prince is injured, so the Pirates will have to go to the backup catcher, and that's going to be Don Slaught, who was a normal catcher anyway, but they were giving him the night off with letting Tom Prince catch. But Don Slaught will be the new catcher. And that's the extent of the injuries. There can be no more injuries in this game. I'm going to ignore all future injuries because each team has 1 injury. And this game creates way too many injuries if you just go by the status quo. So I'm sure there's probably little homebrew tweaks and stuff. But my rule is they get 1 injury per team, and after that, injuries get cut off. Here's Steve Cook. I did print out on PDF his regular pitcher hitting card. And he does hit right-handed despite throwing left-handed. So if we get the 3-6 roll, that could make a difference here. Where if you use batting card 2 or 1 or whatever he uses, you might not know if he bats right or left-handed. So anyway, 2 down, 2 on, no score, bottom of the second. Saberhagen to Cook. 2-1 again is a 50. 2-5 is a 3, total of 53. It's a ground ball pitcher to first. Now this one is not an injury. Not an injury. But so if we were playing injuries, it still wouldn't be an injury because that particular line did not have an injury next to it. But instead, it's just a regular ground out to end the inning. But we could have had it came close to another injury. But as it is, the Pirates kind of injure themselves by leaving 2 on base in scoring position. And we go to the third, still 1-0 Mets. And Tim Bogar, who is now the second baseman, after starting out at shortstop, he is now the second baseman. He will lead off against Mr. Cook. 2-6, and that's going to the ballpark again with the Rays number. That is the looping liner section right here on Three River Stadium. Right now the number is a 3, but that can change based on a die roll. So we take this die and we're going to re-roll it. The 2 in the blue section is the fielder check, and that's the left fielder. So in this case, that is Dave Clark. Clark's range is a 3. So right now he cannot catch this ball because 3 is not greater than 3. It's the same. So if we look at the chart, in order for that number to be dropped to a 2 or a 1, we would need a 3, 2, or 1. So if we roll a 1, 2, or 3, this number 3 drops to a 2 or a 1, and Clark makes the catch. If we roll a 4, 5, or 6, he will not make the catch. So it's pretty much down to that simple. It's a 1, so he does make the catch. Three River Stadium allows him to make that catch, and Tim Bogart is retired. Nice running play there by Dave Clark. Here's Saberhagen, his PDF printed pitcher hitting card. Hit 111 on the season in 45 at bats. 5 for 45. 3-6, that's the left-right split, and he's a righty versus a lefty, so even though he's a pitcher, he still gets that left-right split boost and gets the base hit. So Brett Saberhagen gets a base hit. And I circle those to count how many times the left-right split comes up in the game. It usually comes up 2 or 3 times a game, at least on the 3-6 roll. It might get another one on the column 6 eventually. Here's Darren Jackson. He popped to second his first time up. 2-3 is a 2. 2-4 is a 3. Total of 5. And anything less than 6 in column 1 or 2 is a strikeout. So Darren Jackson fans, and there's 2 down. And now we got the new new shortstop rather, Kevin Baez, his first at bat since entering the game. He had a whole 183 on the season. 1-4 is a 5. 1-5 is a 3. Total of 8. That's a pop up to third. Jeff King is there to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Mets here in the top of the third. We go to the bottom of the third, still 1-0. Favor the Metropolitans. And both teams are probably breathing a sigh of relief that the injury checks are now over. And we can just get on to baseball. Carlos Garcia, the leadoff man, is up for the Pirates. He popped to second his first time up. Check and make sure my focus is still good. Looks like it is. All right. Garcia against Saberhagen. 2-2, and that's going to be an automatic hit with that 11. So base hit for, doesn't matter what Saberhagen does, just for official purposes. 2-5 is a 3, a total of 14. 14 is a single to center field. The only thing the numbers change is where the ball is hit, but since nobody's on base, you really don't need that information. But we do need is a plus right here. So since that's a plus, that means we're going to the stolen base, and he has to try to steal. And if he can't steal, he will be out trying. With the star, he would just be holding, but with the plus, he's got to go, and if he doesn't make it, he's out. So we need to figure out the catcher defensive rating and the pitcher hold rating. Saberhagen's hold rating is a 3. That's about average. The catcher, in this case Charlie O'Brien, his defensive rating is a 4, which is above average. So we cross-reference the 3 and the 4, and we get a number of 43. So we come over to here, and it says if dice roll is equal or less than the combined stolen base defensive rating, the runner is caught stealing. So if we roll a 43 or less, he is caught stealing. 44 or higher, he makes it. And if it's a 61 or higher, we roll against the catcher's error rating for a possible E2. So that's kind of what we're looking at. 43, we need a 44 or higher for him to be safe. Anything else, and he will be out. And he's out. So caught stealing is Carlos Garcia. As Bogart puts on the tag. Wipes out that leadoff base runner. Unfortunately for the Pirates. So Jay Bell steps to the plate. Get a 3-3. That's a 14. 3-1 is a 1. Total of 15 in column 3. And that is a line out to second base. And it's a good thing that Saberhagen got the blue 1. Because if the blue die had been a 2 or higher, we'd have been down here. The 2 would have changed this 14 to a 16 instead of a 15, and a 16 would have been a triple. So that's how close you can come on the pitcher card. When you got that 1, it stops a lot of hits. So in that case, Saberhagen very blessed that it was a blue 1 and not a different number on the blue die. So 2 down for Al Martin. 2-5 is a 3. 2-5. Another 3, that's a total of 6, and that's the strikeout in column 2. So nothing doing for the Pirates after they caught stealing. It kind of took the momentum away. And at the end of 3, we still 1-0 Mets here on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Next Sunday night, we will be in Cleveland, the Mistake by the Lake, as the Kansas City Royals will be coming to town to take on the Cleveland Indians. I'm not sure who's pitching for the Indians. I do know David Cone is pitching for the Royals. So I forgot to look up who the opponent was on Cleveland's side of the house. Hopefully it's not Joe Mesa, because we just had Joe Mesa, so I'd like to have another pitcher if possible. But anyway, I'm just going by what the schedule was on ESPN Sunday night that year, and they just happened to pick Cleveland 2 out of 3 weeks, because last week we were in Texas with Cleveland playing Texas, so just got to go by their schedule. Here's Eddie Murray, 2-6, and again we're under the Rays number. The blue die is a 6, which means it's the right fielder in this case, and that is Orlando Merced. He is a 4. So right now Merced would make this catch because his 4 tops that 3. But when we go up here to the looping drive, if this number changes to a 4 or a 5, he will not make the catch. So if we roll a 5 or a 6, then that means it'll drop in for a hit. 1 through 4, and Merced will make the catch. It's 2, so Merced makes the catch. It actually drops this number down to a 1, where just about everybody would have made the catch. But easy play there for Orlando Merced. And there's 1 out for Bobby Bowe. He walked and was erased on a double play first time up. 1-1's a 2, 1-4 is a 2, total of 4, and in column 1, that's a strikeout. Out number 2, down goes Bobby Bowe. And here comes Gallagher. He's the one that hit into that double play. Can't do it now with 2 outs and the base is empty. But he can get a home run possibly. 6-6 going to put us in this ballpark. He's at a 9, but that can change based on what we roll here. The 2 for Steve Cook gives him a 4. So right now that'd be a 13. That would be a guaranteed home run. But if this thing drops to, say, a 7 or a 6 or even an 8, then it won't be a guaranteed home run. So we're going to roll 1d6 and see what happens. That's a 5. So that actually drops him to a 7. That 5 drops that number to a 7. The 7 and the 4 is an 11, which is a single, but he has an outside chance at a home run. So we're going to roll 1d6 rather. And since I have the other board, I will show this so that you can see what I'm talking about. Right here. When you roll an 11, it gets a single with an asterisk, but we go over here to this home run column. And if you roll a 6, it's a home run. Anything else, it stays a single. When you get a 12, everything's a home run except if you roll a 1 where it goes to a single. So 11, you have an outside 1 in 6 chance of a home run. So let's see if he can do it. He does not. It's going to stay a single. So it's a 2-out single for Dave Gallagher. He will reach. And that brings up Jeff Kent, who homered his first time up. He found that 6-6 roll to his liking last time. So let's see if he can do it again. Cannot. 3-2 is a 29. 3-3 is a 2, total of 31, column 3. And that is a line out to left field to end the inning. So nothing doing. The 2-out single goes for naught. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Score remains 1-0. Mets trailing, or Buccos trailing the Mets. I'll get it right eventually. And we start the bottom of the 4th with Orlando Merced, who made that nice running catch to start the inning, taking a hit away from Eddie Murray. So Merced steps to the plate, and you can see he does have a couple of split chances in his column 6 where he's much better against right-handers, power-wise especially, because these 8s and 9s are potential home runs. 16 would be an out, 59 would be a double, but it wouldn't be a home run. So he does get the advantage against right-handers a little bit better. 6-6, how about that? Right on cue, that turns into an 8. 6-3 for Saberhagen is a 2, total of 10, so that's a base hit for Orlando Merced. So Orlando Merced gets the base hit. Actually got a bad break because it would have been a double had he been facing a lefty, but because Saberhagen had a low enough number there, that turned it into a single, not a home run. So Merced is aboard to lead off the inning. And that's the 3rd consecutive inning that the Pirates have led off with the base runner being on base with singles. But None of them have come around to score. So here's Clark. 5-6 is a 4. 5-5 is a 1. Total of 5. 5 in column 5 is a grounder to third. If first base is open and runners are on base, it's a walk, but first base is not open. So it's ground ball to third with the infield halfway. It's a fielder's choice, and they will make the short throw. And it will go 5-4 for the putout as they get Merced sliding into the sliding pit. But Kent threw it over to Bogar to get the force, but Bogar, not wanting to risk the relay and throw it away, just ate the ball, and they'll take their one out and be happy with it. So here's Jeff King. Flew to right his first chance. 2-3, and that's a 16. 2-4 is a 2, total of 18, and that's going to be a fly out to center field for out number 2. So King is retired, and that's going to bring up Kevin Young. He did single his first time up, but was stranded at second base. 3-1 is a 13. 3-3 is a 2 for a total of 15 in column 3. That's a line out to second. Boy, if that had gone to a 16, that would have been a triple again. But again, got a 2 here. If we'd have gotten a 3 or 4, that would have been a triple. So Saberhagen living dangerously in that column 3, but gets by with it. And we now go to the 5th inning with the score still 1-0. Favor the Mets. That home run from Jeff Kent has held up so far. Steve Cook back out. Cook can face 27 batters. Saberhagen can face 28, so they're nowhere near their fatigue level. Plus, they're pitching pretty well, so no sense to worry about there. Mets have 5 in the bullpen ready to go, and Pirates have 6 in the bullpen ready to go. Here's O'Brien. 1-5 is a 5. 1-6 is a 3. Total of 8. And that's a pop to third. Jeff King in foul ground makes the catch. 1 away for Tim Bogar. Bogar flew to left his first chance. Saberhagen is on deck. Saberhagen got a base hit his last time up on that left-right split. So caught a break there. Well, that blue die did not go through. It's held onto my hand for some reason, so let's redo that. 4-5, and that's a 6. 4-3 is the third baseman, King. He's a 2. Total of 8 in column 4. With the infield back, it's a simple ground out. So King will make the play. I believe it would have been a fielder's choice had the runner been on first. But with the bases empty, it's an easy play. And here comes Saberhagen. Found that 3-6 roll to his liking last time. 2-2 this time. He might. Well, it's a raise number 1, so very likely this will be caught because it's not going to change. It's not an orange, so it stays a 1. So as long as the outfielder has a range of 2 or better, he will make this catch. The 3 says we're looking at the center fielder, and the center fielder in this case is Al Martin. And Al Martin, by the skin of his teeth, he is a 2. But it still beats the 1, so one of the rare times that Al Martin will actually make the play on a looping liner, but he does, and retires the Mets to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 5th, still 1-0. That home run is still holding up. Pitching duel here at Three Rivers. And Saberhagen back out. And Don Slaught, the new catcher, will be your batter. Number 8 hitter, followed by Cook, the pitcher. 1-6 is a 45, and anything 45 with the bases empty in column 1 is an automatic strikeout, much like the 36 in column 6, and much like the 13 in APA. You just kind of memorize those numbers. And with nobody on base, 45 in column 1 is a strikeout. Here's Steve Cook. And just to show you what I'm talking about, column 1, 45. Anything you add to that, you're going to get 46 to 50, and it says strikeout or. So if the infield's not halfway, it's a strikeout. Just so you know, I'm not making it up. But like I said, this game, much like the APA game, you can memorize some of these results, and it'll speed up play. So here's Cook. 1-2 is a 35. 1-6 is a 2. Total of 37 in column 1. And a 37 column 1 is a ground ball to second. handled by Bogar, 2 down. And now Carlos Garcia coming back out. He's 1 for 2. He did single his last time up, but was caught stealing. 6-5 to 36. That's a strikeout that's going to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Buccos here in the 5th. We've played 5 innings. I'm not going to mention how quickly the game is moving because I know it's going to jinx if we do, so I won't mention it. We're going to the 6th, still 1-0. And Darren Jackson, the leadoff man, is up. He's 0 for 2. He's popped to second and struck out. So the man they got for Tony Fernandez so far is not doing too well. He only hit 209 for the season, combined Toronto and New York. 4-6 is a 1, so you know it's going to be a ground out. 4-6 over here is a second baseman, so he's going to ground to Garcia at second for an easy play. 1 down for the shortstop Baez. And Baez popped to third his only time up. 4 1s and 11. This is an error check because anything you add to 11 is going to make it into the 12 to 16 category. The 4 is the shortstop, so we're checking Jay Bell's error rating. Jay Bell, his error rating is a 55. So if you roll a 56 or higher, it will be an error. 55 or less, he will make the play. We roll a 42, so he makes the play for out number 2. Got a good hop on the AstroTurf and took care of it. 2 up, 2 down for Eddie Murray. He's 0 for 2. Grounded to third in the 1st. Flew to right in the 4th. And I believe that was the one that Merced took the hit away from him. 6-5 is a 16. 6-1 is a 2, total of 18. That is a deep fly to left. And that's going to do it for the Mets. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 6th, still 1-0. That lone little home run from Jeff Kent is holding up. And Saberhagen's making it hold up. But Cook is holding the line as well, so who will flinch is the question. Jay Bell leads off. He's walked and lined to second. 2-3, that's a 2. 2-5 is a 3, total of 5, and that will be a strikeout. Bell is retired. And that'll bring up Al Martin, center fielder. Martin is 0 for 2, flew to left and struck out. His 2 times up. 6-4, and that's a split chance. A 60 against a right-handed pitcher. So 60 means that's going to be a double. The 6 would have been a single, but 60 is going to make that a double. Let's see here. Is there any other provision to do anything else? Runner advances 2 bases with 2 outs, run on first. Well, no runners are on, so let's see. So it's just going to be a double because there's no base runners to worry about. But it'll be a leadoff double for Al Martin. And the Pirates looking now to break through. Orlando Merced, the batter, he did single his last time up. And Al Martin has a run rating of 4, so base hit could score him. 4-2 is a 4. 4-5 is the shortstop, and that is Baez. And Baez's defense checks in as a 3. So we get a 3, and we get a 4, total of 7. The infield is back, so a 7 says ground out, runner advances. Runner on second holds on grounders to short or third. So therefore, since it was hit to short, Martin has to hold, and Merced cannot move him up. So 2 down, and now all Saberhagen has to do is get Dave Clark out to get out of the inning. Clark has singled and reached on a fielder's choice, 1 for 2. And now with 2 outs, it's a good chance that Martin would score on any hit. 4-6 is a 16. 4-3 is the third baseman, Kent. Kent is a 3. So that makes that a 19 in column 4. And with the infield back, a 19 is a grounder throw to first for the out. So making the play is Kent, and that's going to end the inning. And they will leave the runner stranded at second base. So nothing doing for the Pirates in the 6th. We go to the top of the 7th, still 1-0. Here from Three River Stadium. Steve Cook now has he's only faced 21 batters, so he's still good to go defensively, or stamina-wise. Here comes King. I'm sorry, I got the wrong guy up there. Let me get the Mets up there. Bobby Bowe said it's my turn to hit. What are you doing? So Bobby Bowe has walked and struck out. He has not put bat on ball yet. See what a million can get you. 5-4 is a 2 with an F, so that's action column. He did steal 3 bases. 2F, so it's 2 there. 5-2 is a 1 there for a total of 3. But a 3 is going to be a ground out to second, so Bobby Bowe will not get to go to the action chart. And he would have most likely got caught stealing if he was, because not a whole lot of stolen bases in that area there. So Bobby Bowe is out of there. And that'll send up Dave Gallagher. Gallagher hit into a double play and singled, 1 for 2. 2-6, and we're back to the Rays number. It's a 4, but again, that's going to change. The blue 2 tells us that it is the left fielder, Clark, and Clark's range is a 3. So this has to drop to a 2 for him to make this catch. The only way that's going to drop to a 2 is if we roll a 1, 2, or a 3. If we roll a 4, 5, or 6, then it will drop for a hit. 1, 2, or 3, Clark will make the catch. And he does. So Clark, nice running catch, and Three River Stadium takes another hit away from the Mets. Home field advantage for the Pirates, perhaps. Never know, those things might have fallen in at Shea Stadium. All right, here's Jeff Kent. He's responsible for the only run of the game with his homer back in the second inning. 1-2 is a 2, 1-5 is a 3, total of 5, and he will whiff as they strike him out to end the inning. And we're going to the 7th inning stretch here in Pittsburgh. Score remains Mets 1 and the Pirates nothing. And since we're at the 7th inning stretch, no singing or anything, but I thought it might be interesting to look at the score sheet as it is going on right now so far in this game. So, as you can see, the only run here is from Jeff Kent. So the Mets so far have 1, 2, 3 hits. 1 run on 3 hits for the Mets. For the Pirates, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. No runs on 5 hits. So that's where we're at so far. And there have not been any errors. So it's been a clean game all the way around. And pretty clean score sheet. I don't usually have score sheets that are that clean. Usually one team or another is blowing somebody out and it looks like a mess. But this one, even with my bad penmanship, it's still relatively decent looking. So now we start the bottom of the 7th. Saberhagen has faced 23 batters. He can face 28, so he's still in good shape. And leading off will be Kevin Young. I'm sorry, got the wrong person up there. Should be Jeff King, not Kevin Young. My bad. Jeff King should be the leadoff man, followed by Kevin Young, because Clark made the last out in the previous inning. All right, so here's King. 2-1, that's a 39, and again, that would be potential for a injury. But you see, that's got that raised number 1 there, so that will help cut out some of the injuries, I do believe. If a batter result 2-1 has a raised number beside it and he faces a game's missed assignment, roll 1 die. If the die is higher than the raised number, disregard any missed games. So in other words, unless we roll a 1, if we were doing injuries, we'd have to roll a 1 to make it an injury. Anything above a 1, we would disregard the injury because he had 611 at bats. So, but anyway, we get a 39. 2-6 is a 3. It's a 42, so that's going to be a ground out shortstop to first. There would be a 1-game injury if we were doing injuries, but you roll that and you roll 3, so it's greater than the 1, so we would disregard the injury. Even if we were doing injuries, we would disregard the injury. But since we already had an injury, of course, that's a moot point. So Jeff King is out of there. Now Kevin Young can hit. He's 1 for 2. He singled and lined to second. 2-5 is a 16. 2-6 is a 3 for a total of 19. That's a fly to center. And Jackson handles that with no problem. 2 up and 2 down for Slot. Now the pitcher is on deck, so they might. This is where you get the National League rules, where a little strategy comes into play. If we were using the DH, Cook would be coming back out for the 8th inning regardless. But if Slot reaches and there's a chance to bring home a tying run, they would probably pinch hit for Cook. But Slot has to reach first. 1-1 is a 15, and he is going to reach. 1-1 is a 15, 1-1 is a 2, total of 17 in column 1. And a 17 in column 1 is a single up the middle plus an error. So we know the Slot's going to single, but there's a possibility of an error. Possibility of an error. And I'll show it here because it's in the little thing here. Single plus error. Fielder die. The blue die is a 1, which means it's a slow chopper to the pitcher. So it says hurry up throw to first may be wild. Roll against the error rating of the fielder. If the roll is higher, batter and all runners advance an extra base on his error. So the blue die tells you who the fielder is, whether it's catcher, pitcher, short, second, or third. Since the blue die is a 1, we're checking the pitcher. That is Saberhagen. His error rating is a 32, so this could very well be an error. And it is. So I just talked about what a clean game we have, but now we've got a single plus an error. And Slot now is going to reach second base, and now the decision. This is where Jim Leland gets paid to manage. Right here, you're down 1-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Steve Cook is pitching really well, but you got the tying run at second base with 2 outs, and you really like to get that tying run over the plate to tie this game. So they're going to go to the bench and make a move and pull out a pinch hitter. And the pinch hitter is going to be, I believe, let's see, they got Foley's the only lefty. So they're going to go with Tom Foley. He will pinch hit for Cook. And then they will go to the bullpen as well after this. Not sure who they're going to bring in. Depends on score and matchup and all that stuff. But right now, Tom Foley, not to be confused with Tom Foolery, but Tom Foley is up with the runner at second and 2 down. You can't pinch run for Slot because he's the only catcher left. If Prince hadn't gotten hurt and he had gotten on second base, you could have pinch ran for him with a faster runner, but don't have that option here. We've got to stick with who we got. And Slot runs at a 2, which is not very good. Foley, 3-4, and that's a possible rare play. Possible rare play. If it's odd or even, we'll see. It's odd, so we're going to the rare play chart. So this could be interesting. This could really determine the game. Rare play, runner on second. And we roll the 2 dice. I'll roll the blue just in case it's needed. But we're totaling up the red and the white, which is a 6. And there are 2 outs. So runner on second. A 6 with 2 outs. Ground ball up the middle. Batter bounces a single past the pitcher. Shortstop and second base converge on the ball. The better rated fielder of the 2, and the tie goes to the shortstop, dives to try to keep the ball in the infield. Roll 1 die against the fielder's defensive rating. If the die is higher, he gets a glove on the ball to knock it down. Batter safe at first and runners hold at third base. If die is not higher, ball just gets past the fielder's glove and the center fielder runner comes around third to score and credit the batter with a single. So we're looking at the range of the 2 middle infielders of the Mets. Tim Bogar, who is now playing second base, is a 3. And the shortstop Baez is a 3 also. So we're looking at a 3. So we're going to roll the die, 1 die. If it's higher than 3, then the ball is going to get through for a base hit. Slot will score. We got a tie game. If it's a 1, 2, or a 3, they knock it down and runners are at the corners with 2 outs. And 6 is going to get by him for a base hit all the way into the outfield. Does not knock it down. Slot comes in to score, and Tom Foley has come through with an RBI single to tie this ball game at a run apiece. And now Steve Cook is off the hook. In fact, if the Pirates score another run this inning, he could actually be the winner. But he's going to, at worst, get a no decision. And unfortunately for the Mets, they couldn't get it done. So here's Carlos Garcia. Saberhagen shaking his head. 2-6, and we got that looping liner again, which is now a 4, but it's going to change. The blue die is a 2, which is the left fielder. And for the Mets, that's Gallagher. And Gallagher is a left fielder. His range in left field is a 3. So he needs this number to be 2 or less in order for him to catch this. And the only way this gets to be 2 or less, again, like we had with other rolls before, has to be a 1, 2, or 3. If it's 4, 5, or 6, it's going to drop for a hit. It's a 5. It's going to drop for a hit. Now we check base runner advancement. The runner was already on first. So it says, if outfielder defense rate is not higher than the raised number, the ball falls for a single. Runners advance 1 base, 2 bases if their speed is higher, or with 2 outs. So with 2 outs, he gets 2 bases automatically. It doesn't matter about the arm or anything else. It's a single with a 2-base advancement because of the fact there are 2 outs. So Tom Foley does take third base, and now runners are at the corners in a 1-1 tie here in the bottom of the 7th. And now Saberhagen has faced 27 batters. This is batter number 28 coming up right here. And that is, well, it's not going to be, let's see here. That was Garcia that got the hit, so it is going to be Jay Bell. My bad, I just didn't put it on the score sheet. It is going to be Jay Bell. He is the 28th batter. So this is the last batter Saberhagen, I'm going to allow Saberhagen to face before fatigue, before he goes to his B charts or B results. So he's got to get Jay Bell here to stay in this ball game. 5-1 is a 5. 5-4 is a 1. Total of 6. And that's a walk. But with the raised number, that raised number of 4, says if, and I'll show it on the chart, in the column 5 results, just so you can see what I'm reading. I think it helps sometimes to be able to see this stuff. So it says here, if the pitcher has a raised number besides column 5 grade and the result is 6, 7, 8, or 9, roll 1 die. If the die is higher than that number, the score is based on balls. If not higher, count as 2 balls. So his raised number is a 4. So if this is a 5 or a 6, it will still be a walk. If it's a 1 through 4, it's a 2-ball count. It's a 2-ball count. So because of his good control, he does not walk the batter, so the batter will get to swing again. 2-3 is a 2. 2-2 is a 2. Total of 4, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So that's going to do it for Saberhagen. He will walk away. Well, he could win it if the Mets score a run in the 8th. But right now we are tied at 7. Give a no decision to Steve Cook for sure. So Cook's going to go 7 innings. And he's going to give up the 1 run, which was the home run. And let's check his hits allowed. I think he only allowed 3 hits. That was it, just the 3 hits. He walked 1. That was Bobby Bowe. And he struck out 3. Saberhagen goes 7 innings, gives up the 1 run. And let's check his hits allowed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits allowed by Saberhagen. Let's see here. Now, was the run earned or unearned is the question. I think because of what happened with Garcia getting the hit, that makes that run earned. Okay, so let's check his walks. I'm showing just 1 walk, and that was to Jay Bell in the first inning. So we had 1 walk. Strikeouts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got him for 5 strikeouts. All right, so after 7 innings of play, this is the total line score for both pitchers. Very good outing for both. Saberhagen can still have an outside chance at a win. Cook will get a no decision guaranteed. So we go to the top of the 8th, and we need a new pitcher for the Pirates. And coming up for the Mets, it's going to be O'Brien, Bogart, and a pinch hitter for Saberhagen. Presumably left-handed. So you still have 2 righties and a lefty. So I think they're still going to go to a right-hander out of the pen. Will the Pirates. And let's see who that's going to be. Belinda's their closer, so we're not going to use him. I think they're going to go to Blas Minor. So Blas Minor is on. Blas Minor it is. He will take over for Cook here in the 8th inning. And the first batter he will face will be Charlie O'Brien. 1-1 tie in the 8th. O'Brien 0 for 2. 2-4 is a 50, and 2-2 is a 151. That's a ground ball to the pitcher. So an easy play. 1 down for Tim Bogar. And Jeremy Burnitz has already picked up a bat and will hit for the Mets. 2-6, and that's a Rays number again, which is a 3. The 6 is the right fielder, and that is Merced, and he is a 4 in right field. So as long as this doesn't change to a 4, he's okay. The only way it will change to a 4 is if we roll a 5 or a 6. Anything else other than a 5 or 6, he will make the catch. And then we do. It's a 4, so it actually drops. It stays at a 3, so he makes the catch for 2 quick outs. Nice play by Merced. And now Jeremy Burnitz will be coming on to pinch hit for the Mets. 243 hitter on the season with 2 outs and the bases empty. If we had people on base, they would probably go to Orslack, who had a higher average, but Burnitz has a better home run chance, so with 2 outs and the bases empty, they're going for broke, not trying to start a 2-out rally. 2-2, and that's a 2. 2-3 is a 1. That's a 3. Total of 3, so it's going to be a strikeout to end the inning. Orslack would have gotten that base hit because he had an 11. He would have had a base hit and had a chance and would have had to steal. So might have gotten to second. So maybe bad managing there. I don't know, but I went with Burnitz and just didn't work out. So Blas Minor gets through the 8th inning with no issues. And he can face more batters if he needs to. We need a new pitcher for the Mets. Coming up for the Pirates, it'll be Martin, Merced, and Clark, 3 lefties. So they will go to a lefty out of the pen. And you're not going to use your closer, John Franco. So they are going to, even though he's not very good, let's see, do they really want to do that, though? Pete Shork is more of a long relief man. So they've got better pitchers elsewhere. Well, you know what? We're going to play the percentages. They're going with Pete Shurek, the lefty. Since the Pirates have 3 lefties coming up, you're going to play it as if the left-right split matters on every at-bat. So Pete Shurek is on to face Al Martin. Pirates could pinch hit with Lonnie Smith or McClendon if they choose for one of these guys. Let's see. With Clark, it's a possibility. So we'll see how it plays out and how they want to deal with it. But Clark was a 271 hitter, so Martin's 281, Merced is 313, and Clark is 271. So I think we're going to stick with them lefty versus lefty all the way. We get a 1-6, that's a 45. We know that's a strikeout right off the bat. So Martin is down on strikes, and that brings up Orlando Merced. Now last time he hit that 6-6 split and got the 8, but now he's facing a lefty, so that's going to take away the home run possibility. 6-4, though, is not going to be a split chance. It's going to be a 58, and a 6-5 is a 3, total of 61, and that's going to be a double into the corner. So Merced with the double. And now the Pirates have the go-ahead run in scoring position for Dave Clark. Now, do they leave Dave Clark in there, or do you bring in... I'm thinking in real life, I'm going to try to manage as if what I think that Jim Leyland would do. So in this case, if I'm Jim Leyland, or if I think I know what Jim Leyland's going to do, they're going to bring in Lonnie Smith. So Lonnie Smith's going to pinch hit, and he will stay in the game to play left field. Just strictly playing percentages because I'm just trying to be realistic in what I think they would do. So Lonnie Smith, who came over from the Orioles, will be up against Pete Shurek. Now, do the Mets counter with a right-hander? That's the question. You know what? The Mets are going to counter. This is not 2023. Shirk does not have to face 3 batters. He's actually going to leave after facing just 2 batters. So he goes a third of an inning, gives up a double, and he is responsible for the runner on base. But the Mets will now turn to underhanding right-hander Mike Innes, or Jeff Innes, rather. Jeff Innes, he is a ground ball pitcher. You see his column 6 result has infield checks. So if we roll a blue 1 or a 2 with the red die of 6, then we move from column 6 to column 4 and do a ground ball check versus a fly ball check. But that's if that happens. So Jeff Innes is on to try to keep the score where it is as the wheels are turning in both dugouts. Lonnie Smith against Innes. 4-6 is a 2, and 4-2 is the second baseman. So that's going to be a ground ball to Bogar, and with a hit to the right side, that means that the runner Merced will get to third. But now there are 2 outs. So 2 down, and it's up to Jeff King. But King's got to deal with the sidewinding right-hander, Jeff Innes. 5-6 is a 3. 5-5 is a 3. Total of 6, and that will be a walk. 2-out walk puts runners on the corners, and now it's up to Kevin Young as Innes tries to get this thing to the 9th with the score still tied. Young is 1 for 3. 1-1, that's a 1. 1-1 is a 3, total of 4, and that is a strikeout to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Pirates here in the 8th, and now Saberhagen and Cook both officially get no decisions. Right now, Minor and Innes are the pitcher of records as we go to the 9th with the tie ball game. Blas Minor will come back out. He only faced 3 batters, so he's still good to go. Mets have Jackson, Baez, and Murray due up. And you can't really pinch hit. Well, let's see, they could. Let's see what they have. McKnight. Let's see what kind of positions he can play. I think he's the only other infielder they have. Yep, they could bring in McKnight to play second base. Or shortstop, for that matter. So they may pinch hit for Baez right here. I think they will. McKnight's going to come in and pinch hit for Baez. So McKnight will be the new shortstop. And he will pinch hit for Baez. But first things first is Darren Jackson. And now you wonder if they might pinch hit for Jackson as well. They've got Vince Coleman sitting over there. Why not lead off with him? He's a leadoff hitter. That's what he's there for. So Vince Coleman, although he is not rated for center field, but I think Gallagher is. So we could move Gallagher. Yep, he is. So Vince Coleman's going to pinch hit. Boy, I just love National League games. Vince Coleman is going to pinch hit for Darren Jackson. So Coleman's going to pinch hit for Jackson. McKnight's going to take over at second base. He's going to pinch hit for Baez. So McKnight is going to be the new shortstop. Coleman is going to be in the number 1 position, playing left field. And moving to center field will be Gallagher. So those are the changes there. Make these on my score sheet as well here in the top of the 9th. Tied at 1. And Coleman will lead off against Blas Minor. 3-1 is a 13. 3-5 is a 3, total of 16. And that's that dreaded triple. Getting that 3 there gives him a triple. So maybe we should have brought in Stan Belinda. Too little too late now to worry about it. Jim Leland was doing all those other switches and probably should have brought it in, but got outmanaged by the Mets manager. A triple off the bat of Vince Coleman, a pinch hit triple. And now the infield's going to have to come in. Belinda is now loosening in the pen, but I think it's going to be a little bit too late. McKnight, 6'4", is a 16. 6'1" is a 1 for a 17. That is a deep fly out, which will be a sacrifice fly. And McKnight has given the Mets a 1-run lead, 2-1. Sacrifice fly. Both pinch hitters combined for the run to make it a 2-1 Mets lead here in the 9th with 1 out. Base is now clear, and John Franco is loosening in the Mets bullpen as we speak. Here's Eddie Murray. 1-5 is a 35. 1-3 is a 1. Total of 36 in column 1. And a 36 in column number 1 is a ground ball to third that Jeff King will handle. 2 down for Bobby Bowe. So we'll let Minor go ahead and finish out the inning. 3-2 is a 2. 3-6 is a 4. Total of 6 in column 3, and that's a short fly to center field that's going to end the inning. But damage done. The triple by Vince Coleman. Sacrifice fly by Jeff McKnight. And the Mets take a 2-1 lead going into the bottom of the 9th. And that will be all for Jeff Ennis. His night is done. And coming in for the Mets to try to close it out is John Franco. He was 4-3 with 10 saves in the 93 season. Did have a 5.20 ERA, but he is their closer, so I'm going to manage it just like what I thought the manager would do. Now, coming up for the Pirates, we got Don Slaught, and then we got a pinch hitter for the pitcher, and that pinch hitter is going to be Lloyd McClendon, a right-handed hitting outfielder. So we're going to have Slaught and then McClendon. That will leave Shelton and Pennyfeather on the bench for the Pirates going forward. Mets still have Orslac, Hundley, and Walker on their bench. Bullpen, the Mets only have Maddox and Draper remaining, but you got Franco out there, so they're trying to go ahead and end it here in the 9th and not worry about it. So Slaught going to hit against John Franco. 3-6, that's a left-right split, and right off the bat, how about that? What a time for the left-right split to come into play. Had that been Ennis pitching, that would have been an out. But you got to go with the best you have, or at least perceived the best you have. And again, the Pirates cannot pinch run for Slaught because they have no other catchers. So they're forced to stay with what they have. Now, you could bunt here. And if you're going to bunt, you might want to use somebody better than McClendon. He's only a 3. So let's see who they got left on the bench that can bunt. Pennyfeather's a 5. He's terrible. And let's see who else. Shelton. He's a 5 also. So they're going to go ahead and have him swing away. 4-2, and that's probably a bad mistake because they're looking at a double play. 4-2 is a 3. 4-3 is the third baseman, Kent, who is also a 3. It's a total of 6, and with the infield back in a double play situation, that would be a double play automatically. But since we got a 6, that means we go to the first base umpire call. So on a 6, when we get a 6 result in column 4. Well, let's show you column 4 real quick first before I do anything else. Infield halfway, when you get a 6, 2 through 6, you see that asterisk there. Asterisk says double play pivot option on plays 6 and 7. So that's where this comes into play. I'm sorry, it's not the umpire chart, it's a double play pivot chart, my bad. Double play pivot chart, right here. We rolled a 6, so we're in this column. We're looking at the defense of the pivot man. Well, the ball was grounded to third, if I'm not mistaken, because the 3 is the third baseman. Yep, so the pivot is the second baseman. Second baseman is Bogar, so let's check his defensive rating. Bogar's defensive rating at second base is a 3. All right, so we keep that number 3. And we go over here to our chart. With a defense of 3, we need a 1 to 4 to be a double play. 5 to 6, it will only be a fielder's choice. So 1 to 4 is a double play. 5 to 6 is a fielder's choice. It's a 3. It'll still be a double play as they turn it 5-4-3 around the horn. And I know Pirate fans out there are probably saying this is rigged because I didn't bring in Stan Belinda, but what are you going to do? All right, here's Garcia, last chance. He is 2 for 4 on the game. We get a 3-3, and that's a 14. 3-6 is a 4, total of 18 in column 3, and that's a double down the line. So boy, how important now was that double play turn? That would have tied the game had they not turned the double play. Garcia hits a double. He is now 3 for 5, and it's going to bring up Jay Bell with a chance to drive home Garcia, who runs at a 4, so pretty much any base hit would score him. But it's Jay Bell time. Now, they could walk Jay Bell, but that would be putting the winning run on base, and I don't think you're going to do that to face Al Martin. So they're going to face Bell. Franco trying to bear down. 5-3. That's a 40 with a C on it, which is the action chart number, which talks about stolen bases. So let's see, a 40 here. A 5-4 is a 4 there. A total of 44 in column 5, and that is a walk. So it will be a walk, but there won't be any stolen base because the runner in front of him will block that. So there's no sense going to column C. There is no chance for that. There are pickoff chances. And there is a PB6. So I'll go ahead and roll it just to see if anything comes up. But if it's a stolen base, we will just ignore it. But I will roll for it because, and I just dropped my red die at the most inopportune time. So we'll roll for it just in case something comes up. So let's see what we get. We get a 5, which is a stolen base, so we're not going to do that. But there were chances for pass balls and stuff, and I didn't want to ignore them. But Jay Bell will walk. So if anybody thought they should walk him intentionally, got him unintentionally walked. And now we have a lefty-on-lefty matchup with Al Martin. Pennyfeather's on the bench as a righty, so is Shelton, but Martin's a much better hitter, so they're going to stick with Martin. He gives 1 for 4 with a double. Franco, 1-6, that's a 45, and with the infield back, that is a strikeout to end the ball game. Franco rings him up, and that is your ball game. Ball game is over. Mets win it by the score of 2-1. And I'm going to pause the video and come back and wrap things up from Three River Stadium and get you set for next Sunday as well. All right, let's look at the totals. For the Mets, 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. They left on 2. Pirates, 1 run, 11 hits, no errors. They left on 11. So if you want to find out the difference in the game, it wasn't my managing. It was the Pirates leaving 11 runners on base. If you want to complain about my managing, I guess go right ahead. Winning pitcher was was Jeff Ennis. For those 2/3 of an inning, he pitched in the 8th, and then Franco got the save. Blas Minor takes the loss. So that is the result here from Three River Stadium. Next Sunday, we'll be at the Mistake by the Lake in Cleveland, as we will have the Kansas City Royals taking on the Cleveland Indians. And then 2 weeks from today, on July 4th weekend, it'll be the Padres in Philadelphia. And then the following week, it'll be the Atlanta Braves and the Florida Marlins. Those are the next 3 scheduled Sunday night games of the week. But next week, we'll be in Cleveland for Kansas City versus Cleveland. Next video on the channel will be the next game in the Yankee replay on payoff pitch. That'll probably happen on Tuesday, where they take on the Texas Rangers. But from here, Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, final score once again, Mets 2, Pirates 1. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.